Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great. Today we're going to be talking about first impressions slash 1 week review of the Galaxy S22 Plus. I've officially had it for just over a week, so we're going to talk about the things I don't like and the things I do like. So there's a lot to talk about. Let's get started. First things first is the display. It is a 6.6 inch Super AMOLED 2X display with 120 Hz on it. So I do love Samsung displays. They truly are some of the best displays on the market, if not the best. I mean, they just have a killer display. This one has 1750 nits of peak brightness, which is absolutely insane. I tend to be outdoors a lot, and this display does not let me down in terms of brightness. I mean, it's insane. You can go all the way up here and it's just not gonna have a problem with being bright. It's just crazy how bright these screens get. I mostly find myself turning down the brightness sometimes, and sometimes I feel like, oh my god, this is blinding. And I honestly don't mind it. The screen does not disappoint in any department. Look at the vibrancy, look at those angles. It almost looks like it's 3D. I love how this screen looks, and it's so beautiful and it's fluid. And just overall, one of the best screens that I've ever had the pleasure of viewing. Now, this display does have a built-in fingerprint sensor, and this one is going to be that ultrasonic fingerprint sensor. Now, I've had an iffy experience with it so far. A lot of times it works, and sometimes it really doesn't. Like, let's see if it works right. Okay, so it works. On camera, it works fine. But from time to time, it doesn't seem to read my fingerprint that well. Kind of annoying, especially on a $1,000 flagship phone. So it's just an issue. I think it'll get better with software updates, because the A52 from last year, that one had the same problem, but over software updates, probably like a month into it or two, it got a lot better. So I expect this one to be improved upon, because I know it can do better. I've seen it do better, and it's just how things happen. So fingerprint sensor, it works, and there it doesn't, there it works. So 2 out of 3 times you're gonna get it. I just wish it worked 100% of the time. This does have a 1080p panel, so there's no Quad HD display, which is not entirely a bad thing, because this screen gets plenty sharp, plenty vibrant, and it's just the detail is always very crisp, and you don't have to worry about not having the Quad HD display. Moving on to software, we have One UI 4.1 on top of Android 12. So we do have the latest and greatest software from Google and from Samsung. So top of the line performance, top of the line software, and honestly it does show. It's very fluid. I do like it, although there are times where I do find a little stutter. You could say chop, but that's not to say that this is bad. Overall, I've had a pretty good experience, especially coming from the A52. This does bring a lot better user experience. Even though they're similar skins, this one does offer a little bit more features and just overall more polished software. The animations are smoother, there's more animations in different places. It just adds to the experience. Moving on to battery and device. So device care, here we see the battery. So the battery has been interesting, because when I first got the phone, the battery was just terrible. It was horrible, but it has gone significantly better in the past few days. Don't let this fool you. I do not have 10 hours of screen on time. I have around 3.5, I believe. This is just because I had protective battery turned on, and it didn't allow the phone to charge to 100%, but to 85%. That's why you see this. And that little spike is there because I charged it to 100% afterward. Anyway, the battery has been great so far. It's been lasting me all day. Honestly, I can't really complain. It's a really good battery. It just could have been better. I feel like Samsung could have kept the 4800 milliamp hour battery in this phone from last year, and I think the battery would have been even better. But right now, it's just being equal to that of last year. But aside from that, the battery doesn't leave me wanting. It honestly works out for the whole day, and I have no real issues with it. I've only nearly killed it twice, and for the most part, if you're at home, you have absolutely nothing to worry about. This does have a 45 milliamp hour battery with 45 watt fast charging, so That 45 watt fast charging is really going to help if you're at home a lot. You always have access to it. If you don't, it's perfectly fine. 25 watts also runs on this phone. 15 watts also runs on this phone by cable, but it'll always default to 45 watts if you have a capable charger. So keep that in mind. If you don't, it's fine. 25 watts will charge this phone up just as quick. There's not really too much of a difference. If you're out and about, it really depends on how much you use the phone. I think it'll last you all day. It'll just make it enough to come home, but that's just been my experience. I know some people, depending on their usage, can get more or less out of this phone. Now, this does have the brand new Snapdragon 8 Generation 1 chip inside, so this is the latest and greatest chipset on Android phones at the moment, and so this does have the top of the line performance. Right here I have Asphalt 9 queued up, and we are seeing how it handles the game. Obviously it's going to handle this like a charm. I've played this game and honestly no problems at all. I've played Call of Duty as well, no frame drops, absolutely nothing. The games work great on here. I have no problems with the performance of this device. The only thing I would say is that after a little bit of time, anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes, for that kind of length, you are going to have a little bit of heating up. I've noticed that with this phone. With or without the case, it's still going to heat up around the same, and it kind of concerns me from time to time, but I did a benchmark test which said that my results for this phone in terms of thermals is normal. So that kind of gives me a little peace of mind. But just know that it does get warm with prolonged gaming. I would not recommend this because it gets rather hot and it kind of concerns me, but honestly, I don't think it should be too much of a problem if you're a casual gamer. Just keep that in mind. Moving on to the camera side of things, here we have obviously our normal camera settings. As you can see, we have our security indicator for the fact that we're using the camera, so that's always nice to see. We have our 12 megapixel ultra wide, our 50 megapixel main sensor, and our 3x optical zoom lens, as you can see. Here we have our test subject. So overall, my experience, I haven't been able to fully test it out yet. I haven't been able to go out much, but I have some photos to show you. We got some pretty nice detail going on here. I really do like it. I really do love the zoom lens on this camera. It's pretty crazy. I can only imagine the 100x zoom. And here we have a normal photo. I was inside a car. I'm about to show you that car's front wheel. So here's the normal photo from the primary sensor, no ultra wide. And this is 30x zoom. That is pretty crazy to me. That tire right here, and you zoom 30 times, and this is the result. Pretty crazy that you can get this kind of zoomage, if you will. Pretty crazy. I love it. It looks so cool, and it's very practical if you need to read a sign from far away. Here's another example. I was in the same car, same distance, and here we have a building, and there's a little light that you can see right there. And so what I did is zoomed in 30 times, and then this is my result. Pretty insane, the levels of zoom. Again, I can only imagine the 100x zoom on the Ultra. It's pretty wild, the fact that I was able to capture that. Amazing. All I can say is that 30x zoom is more than enough for a lot of people. 100x zoom has got to be for a very niche, specific group of people that really want that zoom. I would like to try it out, but honestly 30 times is more than I actually need. And here's a picture from the primary sensor. These are water droplets on the back of a car, and as you can see, very crystal clear. If you see the screen flickering, it's the display that's refreshing the screen, but as you can see, beautiful crystal droplets, very high quality. I love how these pictures turned out. Now, in terms of video, I haven't been able to test this out really at all. I haven't been able to go do my normal testing, but as you can see here, very nice crystal quality coming from this 50 megapixel sensor. You do have a couple options up here. You have HD 30, Full HD 30, Full HD 60, and 4K 30 and 60, as well as 8K 24 frames per second. So you are going to have that functionality. 8K, I wouldn't really recommend it. It's a really large file, and so I wouldn't recommend 8K. it's just not practical, and later the quality is really dependent on the conditions. Stick to 1080p, 30 or 60, depending on what you like. 4K for those cinematic videos. Other than that, don't go to 8K. Here we have some other stuff which I haven't been able to try that much, but I have been able to try out some of these on previous phones, but I can't wait to see the night stuff. In terms of director's view, you are going to have these sets right here. It allows you to have 3 times normal and your ultra wide lens all at the same time to record, and so it's something that you can have on board in case you want to direct some sort of movie. I don't know, but you can have fun with this. I haven't found a use for it, but some people can. Another favorite is portrait video, or as you may know it on iPhone as cinematic video. This one is the same thing, same concept. They actually came out with this first. iPhone then came and copied them, like always, just kidding. But here we have the cinematic, and I will test this out for you guys. Again, the full review is going to be coming probably about a month because I really want to get a feel for this phone. We're going to test out the camera, so stay tuned for that video. Maybe I'll even make a dedicated video for the camera itself and just the things that, you know, you might want to see. As for the design, I do love this design. Flatter sides, and we do have the contour design of a camera. As you can see, D brand going on. Very flat sides, I do like that. I do love the build quality. When I took it out of the box, it felt so premium, and it felt like you got what you paid for. Honestly, the build quality has stepped up since last year. Definitely a good upgrade in terms of build quality. It feels a lot more well built for some reason, so it's fantastic. So overall, I've loved this phone. It honestly does such a good job of just about everything. Battery life is good. Screen is amazing. It's phenomenal. The software is good, and the design is fantastic. I do love the elegance of it. So that was it for this video. First impressions / 1 week review. We will come back with our full review. Also, we have a couple more videos coming up. We have more case videos. As you can tell, I love cases, so we will have all those videos coming up, and we will also be making a montage video of all the cases we reviewed, and we're going to make it all into one video for your convenience. And these are all going to be for the Galaxy S22 series, so whether you have the base one or the S22 Plus or the Ultra, all the cases that I go over is going to apply for all 3 of the phones. So I will link to all of them in the description of their respective episode, as well as the montage video. So stick around for those videos. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.